Hey folks, welcome back to another Poem Master video, and today we're going to go over Lillie Clefairy's Synchro and sort of talk about it, right? So, Lillie Clefairy's Synchro, she has some really nice stuff in here, right? Super duper effective too, and Brutal Clarity if you want to deal damage with her. She got some tanking potential here as well with Tighten Up and Toughen Up. You could heal with X-Axial Catalytic Cure. You could kind of tech with her, lower opponent's stats with Disarming Force and Fortuitous 9, among other things, right? So she has a really interesting grid that, again, we're going to go over. So, as usual, let's start with 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5, like all the other ones, we really don't have much, right? Just pick up, like, everything, I guess. And depending on what kind of what you're running with her. If you're trying to do some damage with her, then obviously pick up Moonblast stuff. If not, then pick up Disarming Voice. At 105 you really can't do too much damage, but if you really want, I guess you could do that. Anyways, moving on to 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5, you get some stuff. You still can't do too much damage because, again, super duper effective 2 and Brutal Clarity are still locked behind 3 out of 5, right? But for 2 out of 5, you could definitely sort of tank a bit because you do have Toughen Up and Tighten Up. Depending on what you're doing, you may or may not need full power MP Refresh 3. Example is if you really just don't have any other units to buff crit, then sure, you could pick that up just for like another guaranteed crit or something. Or if you're playing Villa, right, you want to pick that up. If not, then you probably would want to just go over the side, pick up those two instead of going over there. Pick up Antitoxin unless the stage you're like sure that the stage you're fighting does not poison you at all, then you don't have to pick it up. And as for some other stuff, just pick up some stats, I guess. Nothing else is like a huge deal. X accuracy all MP refresh is again mainly for Villa. It's kind of overkill. Like nothing really needs that much accuracy in this game. And you also don't have to worry about unfortuitous, or not unfortuitous, where is it? Catalytic Cure either, so you don't really have to worry about too much. If you do need to run her in Weather, obviously you could pick up Weather. It's only like 3 energy, right? You could drop whatever and pick that up. And then the other one is a Sand Shelter over here, which you can run her in. So that's basically what you could really run with her at 2 out of 5. Most of her stuff is on a lock behind 3 out of 5, unfortunately. And we'll talk about 3 out of 5, right? So 3 out of 5, let's first talk about like damage, because she could again do some solid damage with this Synchron, right? You want to go pick up, you definitely do want to pick up Moonblast, Move Gauge Refresh, because one of my biggest complaints with Clefairy is she is so incredibly slow. You definitely do want the extra bit of speed, as much extra bit of speed as you can with her, or move gauge, right? So you want that. You want the super duper effective 2, definitely. And like folks are like, oh, what if you're not fighting something that you're super effective against? Well, if you're not fighting something that you're not super effective against, don't use Clefairy as a striker. Use like any other striker. Come on, right? So yeah, you want to pick that up. You definitely want to come down here and pick up Brutal Clarity as well. Maybe this extra sync move power up too. And depending on what you're trying to do, right? If you do have, say, like a 6-star EX Clefairy that gives that extra incentive over there, maybe you want to pick up Adrenaline 1. But otherwise, I don't think Adrenaline 1 is a huge deal. Maybe just pick up the extra bit of Moonblast nodes over here, because like if you don't pick up Adrenaline 1, you could basically get every single like offensive node that's not like a stat node on our grid for Moonblast, right, with exactly 59 energy, right, which is great, right? So if you do want to, if you need Adrenaline, then you could, I guess, drop a few Moonblast nodes. I wouldn't really drop anything else, though, honestly. But yeah, otherwise, just pick up the Moonblast stuff, and you should be fine. This is a very solid damage dealing grid. All right, let's get back to her main job, which is to support, right? Let's talk about support. Like I mentioned for support, I would really like to pick up the Toughen Up and Tighten Up. You don't have to pick it up if you're running like other defensive supports, but if you're not, and if you're trying to tank with Clefairy, and she's an okay-ish tank, she's not the best or whatever, but she could take some hits. But yeah, you definitely want to pick those two up at least. If you're not main tanking with Clefairy, then maybe you don't have to pick these up. But if you are mainly tanking with Clefairy, then you want to pick those up. As for some other stuff, right, you can come down here and pick up Disarming Voice on for 2-9. This makes her kind of like a Mew with Swift, right? For 2-9. And with that, obviously, you do want to pick up Disarming Voice, Move Gauge, Refresh 3 over there. As for some other stuff, you might want to also pick up X Accuracy All Catalytic Cure 9, which heals you a bit every time you use X Accuracy All. This is actually honestly much better if you're supporting a team that doesn't have any accuracy issues. Then you could just save this. It basically turns into a potion, right? It basically turns into a potion. If you're, again, not running on a team that really needs accuracy, so you don't have to use it early on when your HP is relatively high. So you could just save it for whenever you actually need this bit of accuracy stuff, right? So yeah, that's something that you could do. In Villa, obviously, you might want to pick up like the stuff over here. But in terms of what you would drop, I'd probably just drop the Unfortuitous over here, because like Unfortuitous is nice, but in Villa, which are generally, unless you're just really, conserving your resources to like a insane extent, right? Villa, like, there are some exceptions, like Meganium, Lyra's Meganium, but generally the units get taken out relatively quickly, so you don't have that much time to debuff them before they just like get knocked out, right? So you don't have to worry too much about that. This node is very, very eluding, this extra 10 HP. This looks very, very nice. I mean, if you want to pick that up, you can pick that up. But for Villa, I'd probably, maybe you could go over here, pick up the X Accuracy All MP Refresh. Again, if you're not buffing something that needs accuracy, it just acts as a potion. It basically turns into a potion MP Refresh 3 over here, right, with X Accuracy All Catalytic Cure that you could keep. So you could just basically, make it into a potion unit, right? Over here, so that is also something that you could potentially consider. Like, one thing that I really, really would like, if you are running a Villa sort of grid for Clefairies, like, Toughen Up and Tighten Up are actually really, really good for Villa, because you don't need to expend any MP, and then you just basically buff both of your defenses. It's only 30% on each, but like there's two, so you have a very, very good chance of raising at least one of these stats when you get hit anyways. So that is obviously very, very nice to pick up. And then the other scenarios slash options that you would want to run her in, if you're running her in like sand, pick up Sand Shelter, obviously. Snow, pick up Snow Shelter. Is there any? Oh, okay, here's the thing that I just realized. Why did she get Snow Shelter? That's so weird. Like, there aren't too many ice type moves that really need accuracy. I guess like Icy Wind is like what, 95% accuracy, which, it's not like, let me just fact check myself real quick first. Icy Wind is let's see, Icy Wind, yeah, 95% accuracy. Like, that's like the only one, right? The other low accuracy move is Blizzard. And Blizzard never misses during hailstorms, so I don't really see the point of running Clefairy on like a on a hail team, or hail ice team, whatever you want to call it, unless you just really don't have like any other options, because like just straight up like Lyra, Sabrina, Rotom are just better options there. Does Icicle Crash have like? I think Icicle Crash has 100%. Was again accuracy as well, right? I'm pretty sure Icicle Spear I know does. Icicle Crash is 9. Okay, I guess Icicle Crash. But like, yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, Sand's kind of weird too. They're all kind of weird, anyways. Like my biggest issue with Clefairy, well, I have two biggest issues. One is her atrocious speed. I do not know why they gave her such terrible speed. It makes no sense to me. It's not like any of her other stats are amazing. Like, she has like good defenses, but like none of her stats are like insane to like just give her like 165 speed. I do not know why they give her such bad speed. That really puzzles me, and is really annoying. But the other thing, the other little gripe I kind of have with Clefairy is, I think they released Clefairy a bit early, honestly. There really aren't too many units at the moment in the game that really needs accuracy buffs that much and would really benefit that much from running Clefairy. Like, say for example, the big ones like a lot of the big ones are special strikers, like stuff like Infernape with Fire Blast, Mew with Fire Blast, whatever those Fire Blast units, those I guess Blizzard units. If you're really just not running it in Hail, you don't have to, right? Um, the Blizzard units, Fire Blast units, Thunder units, right? A lot of those are a Hydro Pump. A lot of those are special strikers, which is just straight up better if you just run Sabrina, because Sabrina also gives crit, right? And then like for the physical strikers, I guess the only big one is like Machamp and like Fraligator. And Fraligator is just much better if you run Fraligator with Sabrina as well, even though Sabrina is a special support and Fraligator is a physical striker, because if you run Fraligator with Sabrina, you also get the luxury of also running a rain unit, which gives you 50% more damage, which is, again, that's just better than the extra attack, I guess, unless you're running like Sync Nuke for Alligator. But then it's just so niche right now. The accuracy, again, it is good, but hopefully there's just future units that would utilize it better. I think a good idea that, well, I think it's good. An idea that I thought of the other day was maybe in the future they could release Chuck and like Poliwrath with like Dynamic Punch, which is a really good physical striker that has low accuracy and low enough so that both X accuracies might even come into use, right? So something like that. But yeah, anyways, that's me with this one. Hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel for some more Pokemon Masters content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.